Part 1, The Calm Before the Storm. Hey Reddit. Throwaway account for obvious reasons. I never thought I'd be that guy typing out his heartbreak to a bunch of strangers online, but here I am. I, 32M, have been married to my wife, 31F, let's call her Megan, for 6 years. Together for 8. We met in college, she was witty, loud, the life of every party, and somehow she wanted me. I was the quiet guy who read too much and hated clubs, but she dragged me out of my shell and made life feel exciting. For the most part, we had a good marriage. We traveled a lot before COVID hit, adopted a rescue dog, got a little place in the suburbs. We were that couple to our friends, inside jokes, synced calendars, Sunday pancake mornings. At least, that's what I thought. The last few months, though, things have felt off. Megan started staying late at work a lot. She works in marketing for a tech startup, lots of events, networking, team dinners. I tried not to be insecure. I really did. But the little things added up. She changed her phone password. She started sleeping with her phone under her pillow. I'd ask how her day was and she'd just shrug it off with, "Ugh, I'm too tired to talk about work." We stopped having sex. Or when we did, it felt disconnected. Like she was somewhere else. She snapped at me more. Got defensive over small stuff. The girl who used to surprise me with Starbucks after a long day now couldn't be bothered to ask how I was doing. I told myself it was stress. Burnout. Maybe a phase. But deep down, something in me had started whispering that things weren't right. That whisper was about to start screaming. Part 2, The Slip-Up. The first real crack showed 2 weeks ago. Megan told me she had a team-building dinner on a Thursday night. No biggie. She's had a ton of those lately. She kissed me on the cheek, said she might be back late, and left wearing this black dress I hadn't seen in a while, tight, low-cut, the kind she used to wear when we were still dating and going out for drinks. I remember thinking, damn, she looked amazing. But not for me. Anyway, she left. Around 9 p.m. I got a text from her that said, "Meeting ran long. We're just grabbing drinks now." Cool, whatever. I grabbed a beer and started watching old episodes of The Office. Here's where things got weird. About an hour later, our shared iCloud account pinged on my iPad. We had synced it ages ago when we were setting up a shared calendar. Neither of us ever turned it off because, honestly, we never had anything to hide. This time, a photo came through. Not meant for me. It was blurry, like taken from under a table or discreetly, but it was unmistakably Megan. Sitting across from a guy in a suit. Candlelight. Wine glasses. Her hair was curled the way she only does it when she wants to impress. And here's the kicker, the message under it said, "Wish you were under this table," instead of across from its smiling face with horns. I froze. My heart dropped in a way I can't explain. I didn't want to believe what I saw. I stared at it for a full minute, thinking maybe it was a mistake. A joke. Maybe it was from one of her girlfriends. But no. No woman sends that to another woman with a damn devil emoji. And she sure as hell wasn't texting me. That was the moment the whisper turned into a roar. Part 3. Digging deeper. So I sat there, iPad in my lap, stomach churning like I just swallowed concrete. I stared at that stupid devil emoji for a long time. I didn't want to believe it. I still hoped, prayed, that maybe there was some twisted explanation. But my gut knew better. The iCloud sync only caught that one photo and message. I guess it was a glitch, or maybe she unsynced her phone after that because nothing else came through after. But that one message, it was enough. Still, I needed more than that. I didn't want to confront her unless I was sure. So I started digging. Now, before anyone judges me, yeah, I looked through her stuff. I know it's not great. But the second your brain starts spinning with, "Is she cheating on me?" privacy becomes a luxury you can't afford. So the next morning, while she was in the shower, I went into detective mode. First thing I checked was her laptop. She rarely uses it since she's always on her phone, but I found her email open, her work one. I searched the name of the company she worked at, then looked through sent emails. Nothing obvious. Then I tried searching male names I knew from her office. Greg. Danny. Mike. Then one I didn't recognize, Julian. Bingo. There were no emails to him directly, but I found one that said, "Following up on your room booking at the Fairmont for 2 guests." My heart dropped again. The Fairmont? That's the same hotel we stayed at for our anniversary 2 years ago. It's upscale, expensive, and romantic as hell. Not exactly the kind of place you go with your team to brainstorm marketing ideas. The email was from 5 days ago. Meaning this wasn't a one-time dinner thing. This had legs. I kept digging. Checked her Instagram DMs, nothing. She must have been smart enough to delete those. WhatsApp was locked. Her regular texts were clean. Too clean. No way someone texts that much and leaves zero digital trail unless they're covering their tracks. But the kicker? That afternoon, I noticed her gym bag was missing. The one she hadn't used in months. She had told me she was going to yoga after work. Except, I called the yoga studio we both used to go to, and they said she hadn't been there in over a month. She was lying. Again. And suddenly, all the late nights, the cold shoulder, the new lingerie she just bought for herself. It all started lining up like a damn murder mystery board. I wasn't just suspicious anymore. I knew, and I had no idea what to do next. Part 4, the setup. After that morning, I couldn't unsee what I saw. The texts, the hotel email, the lies, it was like my entire relationship flipped inside out overnight. But instead of confronting Megan right away, I made a decision. I was going to catch her red-handed. I don't know what came over me. I guess part of me wanted undeniable proof. Something she couldn't lie her way out of. And yeah, maybe I wanted to see how far she'd go. Maybe I needed to really see it with my own eyes to finally let her go. So I played dumb. That night, I acted normal. Asked her how yoga was. She gave me this tired smile and said, good. Just what I needed. I asked if she wanted Thai for dinner. She said she already ate with some coworkers. Then she got a text, glanced at it quickly, and flipped her phone over on the couch. I felt physically sick watching her lie to me. But I smiled through it. Said I was going to go to bed early. She stayed up scrolling TikTok and giggling at her screen. She wasn't even trying to hide it anymore. The next morning, I started planning. I had a buddy, let's call him Ryan, who worked in IT and owed me a favor from way back. I called him and explained the situation. He was hesitant at first and kinda shocked since he knew Megan too, but once he heard the hotel email part, he said, all right, let's find out the truth. Ryan helped me set up a location tracking app, nothing invasive, just a shared tracking link using a Find My Friends style app. I installed it on an old backup phone I had lying around and slipped it into Megan's gym bag the next day while she was getting ready for her yoga session. That afternoon, she left at 5:40 p.m. sharp in yoga pants and a hoodie. Kissed me on the cheek and said, don't wait up. I might grab smoothies after. As soon as she pulled out of the driveway, I grabbed the backup phone, opened the tracker, and waited. She didn't go to the yoga studio. She didn't go anywhere near it. She drove to a hotel, not the Fairmont this time, but a smaller boutique spot downtown. Stayed parked for 2 minutes. Then her little blue dot started moving inside the building. Straight to the rooms. At that point, I had 2 options, sit there and let it break me or go there myself. I chose the latter. Part 5, the hotel room. My hands were shaking the entire drive. I had no plan, no clue what I'd say or do once I got there, just blind adrenaline and this sick feeling in my gut that I couldn't shake. Every traffic light felt like it was mocking me. Every turn was one step closer to the end of my marriage, and I knew it. I parked across the street from the hotel and waited for a second, trying to gather myself. It was a boutique spot, the kind with those fake-ass romantic getaway vibes, dim lighting, exposed brick, overpriced wine bar in the lobby. She used to tell me she wanted us to stay there together someday. Funny. I walked in like I belonged there. Hoodie, cap pulled low. No one at the desk batted an eye. I knew from the tracker she was on the 3rd floor and the signal had stopped moving. She was in a room. I had the room number from the app's location tag. Room 312. I stood in front of the door for maybe a full minute. My heart was slamming in my chest so loud I swear I could hear it in my ears. I raised my fist to knock, but I didn't have to. Because as I stepped closer, the door opened. There she was. Megan. Hair tousled. Lipstick smudged. Wearing that same black robe she used to wear after our anniversary dinners. Behind her, shirtless and half-tucked into the hotel bed, was a guy. Probably early 30s. Decent looking. He looked as surprised as she did, maybe more. She froze. Like a deer in headlights. Holy SHT, she whispered. What the FCK are you doing here? I didn't answer. Just stared at her. At him. At the 2 wine glasses on the nightstand. At her bra hanging off the lampshade. I didn't need words. Everything I tried to deny for weeks, months, was screaming in my face. You said you were going to yoga, I finally said, my voice hoarse. She stepped into the hallway, pulling the door shut behind her like that would somehow shield me from seeing what I'd already seen. It's not what you think, she blurted. I actually laughed. Like, full-on laughed. Not what I think. You're in a hotel room with another guy. Wearing lingerie. While your husband is at home waiting for you to come back from King yoga. She tried to grab my arm. Just calm down, okay? This is complicated. I didn't mean for you to find out like this. Like this. Like there's a right way to find out your wife is screwing some other dude in a hotel bed. At that point, the guy inside, Julian, I assumed, poked his head out and said, "Do you want me to call security?" I looked him dead in the eyes and said, "Call whoever you want, man. Just make sure she calls a divorce lawyer next." Then I turned around and walked away. I didn't say another word. Part 6, The Aftermath. The second I stepped out of that hotel, it hit me like a King freight train. I had just seen my wife, the woman I built a life with, the one I thought I'd grow old with, half naked in a hotel room with some guy named Julian who probably uses the word synergy in meetings. It was like reality was melting around me. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. My legs felt like concrete. I sat in my car, stared at the steering wheel for what felt like an hour, and just broke. I didn't scream. Didn't punch anything. I just sat there and cried. Ugly, gut-wrenching sobs. The kind that don't come from your eyes, they come from somewhere deeper. I didn't even know I could cry like that. I must have looked insane, 6 feet 2 inches guy hunched over in a beat-up Camry outside a boutique hotel, crying like a kid who lost his mom in a supermarket. I didn't go home that night. I drove to my brother's place, told him I needed to crash on the couch. Didn't say much else. Just that Megan get up bad. He offered me a beer and sat with me in silence while I stared at the wall like a ghost. The next morning she called. I didn't answer. Then she texted. "Can we talk?" Get up, I know. But we need to talk about this. It didn't mean anything. I never stopped loving you. T. You don't accidentally fall into bed with someone and book hotel rooms without meaning anything. You don't lie, gaslight, sneak around and then pull the "but I still love you" card like that's supposed to fix it. She blew up my phone for 2 days straight. Called from her work number. Even emailed me. Said she needed closure, wanted to explain, wanted to meet face to face. Closure? She had 1,000 chances to give me closure before she dropped her panties in room 312. By day 3, she came home to find her key didn't work. I had the locks changed. Her stuff? Neatly packed in boxes in the garage. She banged on the door. Yelled. Cried. Even tried the whole "you're overreacting" bit. That was the moment I realized I wasn't angry anymore. Just done. Like something inside me finally snapped shut. A door slammed. A light turned off. Whatever metaphor works, she was out. Part 7, Gaslight, Deny, Repeat. So after I changed the locks and boxed up her stuff, I figured Megan would get the message. Of course, I was wrong. The very next day, she showed up at my brother's place. I don't even know how she found out I was staying there. Maybe mutual friends, maybe she snooped my phone when I wasn't looking before, who knows. But there she was on the porch wearing sunglasses like she was in some dramatic rom-com and not the literal antagonist in my personal horror movie. I was out back with my brother. He came in and said, "Hey, she's here." I didn't want to see her. I didn't want to hear her. But against my better judgment, I walked out front. She didn't even look remorseful. Just tired. Like this was somehow hard on her. "You can't just lock me out of the house," she started. I stared at her. "You cheated on me." "That's not the whole story," she shot back, voice rising. "You've been distant for months. You never ask me how I'm doing anymore. You don't even touch me." I blinked. Actually blinked. Like I couldn't believe she was pulling this card. "You stopped touching me first. You stopped talking to me. You lied about yoga, work dinners, everything. You literally sent another man a message about being under a table." She huffed. "That was a joke." I laughed bitterly. "Was the hotel a joke too? The lingerie? Is D***CK in your mouth?" Real comedic timing. Her face twisted like I slapped her. Good. She deserved to feel something. She tried to push the blame again. "It wasn't serious. Julian he's just a distraction. I never wanted to leave you, I was just confused." "You weren't confused when you lied every night. You weren't confused when you booked the room." That shut her up. Then came the gaslight. "You've always been paranoid. You read into things too much. That's why I didn't tell you anything, because you always freak out." Unreal. She was standing there, busted cold, still trying to make me the crazy one. Classic. I didn't even argue. I just looked her in the eye and said, "We're done. There's no coming back from this. I want a divorce." She didn't say anything. Just stood there breathing hard like I took the wind out of her. Like she was the victim. Then she turned around and left. And I finally felt like I could breathe. But what followed wasn't peace. It was emptiness. Part 8. The silence after the storm. The days after Megan left were the quietest I've ever experienced. No texts. No calls. No doorbell drama. She was just gone. And I thought that's what I wanted, the peace, the space, the silence. But let me tell you, silence can be *king deafening. I'd wake up on the couch at my brother's place, instinctively reaching for my phone like maybe she'd messaged. Not because I wanted her to, but because I was still wired to expect it. 8 years of being with someone doesn't just shut off overnight. The little things hit the hardest. I'd go to make coffee and reach for the oat milk she liked. But she wasn't there. I'd hear a song on Spotify that she used to hum in the shower. I even saw her shampoo bottle in the shower caddy at home when I stopped by to grab some stuff. It was like her ghost was everywhere. And it didn't give a *T about the fact that she ripped my heart out. And I started second-guessing everything. Was I really distant? Did I stop appreciating her? Was I too boring? Too stable? That's the worst part about being cheated on. It doesn't just shatter your trust in them, it shatters your trust in yourself. I kept replaying our last year together in my head like a broken record. All the nights she came home late and said she was just tired. All the times she looked me dead in the eyes and told me nothing was wrong. Every kiss, every "I love you" suddenly felt like a *king lie. Like I was a backup plan she was settling for until something more exciting came along. I didn't tell a lot of people right away. I was embarrassed, ashamed even. I know I didn't do anything wrong. But still, when your marriage implodes like that, there's this weird internal voice that whispers, you must have failed somehow. My brother was solid, though. He never pushed. Just let me sit in silence, drink too much whiskey, and zone out to garbage TV. Sometimes he'd say something like, "You're gonna get through this." Sometimes I believed him. Mostly I just existed. Ate, slept, replayed hell in my head. And somewhere in all that numbness, I realized something. Megan might have detonated the bomb, but I was the one still sitting in the rubble, holding my breath. It was time to start crawling out. Part 9. Turning Point. It happened on a Thursday. I'd been crashing on my brother's couch for 2 weeks. Same routine, work, silence, whiskey, sleep, lather, rinse, repeat. I wasn't really living, just existing in this fog where everything felt gray and pointless. But that Thursday, I came home from work and found a box on the couch. My brother had left a note on top. Time to start moving forward, whether you want to or not. Inside the box were my running shoes, my old sketchbook, yeah, I used to draw, stopped sometime after we got married, and a hoodie I hadn't worn in years. The one Megan used to steal and call hers. Seeing it again in my space reminded me it was mine first. That moment hit me hard. Not because I missed her, I didn't. I missed me. The guy I was before I got lost in loving someone who didn't love me back the same way. So I went for a run. First time in months. It was ugly, my lungs were screaming, my legs felt like cinder blocks, but it was real. The cold air burned in a good way. It made me feel something again. That night, I didn't drink. I opened the sketchbook instead. Just started doodling random *T. Nothing deep, nothing meaningful. But my hands moved and my brain finally focused on something that wasn't her. It felt like a crack of light breaking through all the static. I also started journaling. Sounds corny, I know, but I needed somewhere to dump the rage, the confusion, the late-night spirals. I wrote stuff I couldn't say to her face. Stuff I'd never say to anyone. Some pages were just *CKU scribbled 100 times. Others were apologies to myself for ignoring the red flags, for loving someone who stopped loving me, for letting her rewrite the narrative. And slowly, I started to feel less broken. I wasn't okay yet, but I wasn't numb anymore. The pain was still there, yeah. But it wasn't swallowing me whole. It was just a weight I was learning to carry. And that, I think, was the moment I stopped surviving and started healing. Part 10. The Final Lie. Just when I thought I was making progress, Megan found a way to pull me back into her bullshit, one last time. It was a Sunday afternoon. I'd just come back from another run, shorter this time, didn't almost die small wins, and I was actually feeling good. Genuinely good. Like I could see a future that didn't involve feeling like a walking open wound. And then my phone buzzed. A text. From her. We need to talk. It's important. Not about us, something else. Please. I stared at it for a long time. Part of me wanted to ignore it. Just delete the message, block her number, keep moving forward. But curiosity's a bitch. And so is trauma bonding, apparently. So I replied. What? She sent back. Can we meet? I swear it's not a trap. I just need 10 minutes. It's serious. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet at a coffee shop near her old yoga studio, neutral ground, public daylight. I figured if she tried to pull the "I miss you" crap again, I could walk out without drama. She showed up looking different. Not sexy, not smug, just frazzled. Nervous. Eyes puffy. No makeup. Hoodie and leggings. She looked like a college kid cramming for finals, not the femme fatale from the hotel room. She sat down and jumped straight into it. "I'm late." I blinked. "What?" "I'm late, like a few weeks. I took a test this morning." The words hung in the air like a bomb with no timer. "You think it's mine?" I said, already knowing the answer. She looked away. Didn't speak for a moment. Then, "I don't know. Jesus F * King Christ." I just stared at her. Not angry, not panicked, just hollow. Like my brain had hit some kind of emotional kill switch. "And what exactly do you want from me?" I asked. "Support? Sympathy? A high five for potentially bringing a child into the world with your affair partner?" "No, I just thought you deserved to know," she said quietly. "And if it is yours, I thought maybe." "Don't," I snapped. "Don't even try. You lied to me every single day for months, and now you want to play the honesty card because it's convenient." She tried to reach for my hand. I pulled it back. I stood up, looked her dead in the eye. "I don't care if you're pregnant. I hope for the kid's sake it's not mine. But either way, you're not my problem anymore." And then I walked out. Didn't look back. Didn't need to. That was the last lie. The last desperate grab for control. And I finally didn't fall for it. Part 11. Letting go. Walking out of that coffee shop felt different. Not like the other times, not like the hotel, or the confrontation, or even the night I changed the locks. This time, there was no rage, no heartbreak, no confusion. Just clarity. It was over. For real this time. Whatever last thread Megan thought she was holding onto, it snapped the second she tried to use a maybe baby as leverage. And for the first time in months, I felt light. I went home, tossed my phone on the table, and took a long-ass shower. One of those showers where you just sit under the hot water, not thinking, not crying, just being. Like washing her off me. The months of stress, gaslighting, self-doubt, all of it down the drain. I started making changes that week. Big and small. I deleted our shared playlists. Took down our wedding photos. Cleared the pantry of all her weird healthy snacks. I even bought a new set of plates, nothing fancy, just mine. It felt symbolic, like scrubbing my life clean of her fingerprints. I got back into art. Started sketching for real again. Even signed up for a local figure drawing class, something I'd wanted to do for years but always put off because our schedule was too busy. Translation, her schedule was too busy. It felt good to prioritize myself. Like I was slowly piecing back together a version of me that existed before the marriage, maybe even a better one. Stronger. More self-aware. Definitely less tolerant of bulls ***. Friends started reaching out more too. Word had clearly gotten around. Megan always loved to be the center of drama, and I guess cheating on your husband in a boutique hotel qualifies. Some people offered sympathy. Some offered beer. A few offered to help me set up a dating profile. Hell no, not yet. And yeah, I finally told my parents. That was rough. My mom cried. My dad, who loved Megan like a second daughter, went quiet for a long time before saying, "You deserve someone who doesn't lie to your face." Damn right. I still had bad days. Still woke up sometimes reaching for her. Still caught myself wanting to text her something dumb like, "Remember this meme?" But each time, the urge got weaker. Each time, it passed quicker. Because I was learning something. She wasn't my home anymore. I was. Part 12. The Divorce Talk. I finally scheduled the meeting with the divorce lawyer. It felt weirdly formal, like booking a haircut or a dentist appointment, except instead of cleaning my teeth, I was scrubbing someone out of my life. I walked into the office with this folder of documents, bank statements, insurance info, house paperwork, copies of texts I never wanted to see again. The lawyer, let's call her Amanda, was a calm, noble *T type. Mid-40s, sharp suit, looked like she'd seen it all. When I gave her the short version of what happened, she just nodded and said, "All right. First, I'm sorry. Second, let's take her apart clean." God, I needed that energy. She explained the process, what to expect, how long it might take. We talked assets, the house, the dog. Yeah, I forgot to mention, we have a rescue named Bowie. Megan barely walked him the last few months, so he's been glued to me ever since. Amanda said I had a good shot at keeping everything, especially if the cheating came up in court, and it would. Then came the part one dreaded, actually telling Megan it was time to make it legal. I sent her a simple text. "I've filed. My lawyer will be in touch. I suggest you get one too." She didn't respond for 2 hours. Then she called. I didn't answer. Then she texted. So that's it? You're really doing this? You can't even talk to me like a human being? I didn't reply. Because we did talk. I gave her chances. I let her lie. Over and over. She chose this. Not me. A few days later, her attorney reached out. The classic "we're requesting mediation" crap. I told Amanda to go for it, not because I wanted to play nice, but because I wanted it done. No more drawn-out drama. No more late-night crying fits. No more texts about what could have been. Megan tried one last guilt trip during the mediation. Said I was being cold. Said I used to be so loving. Amanda cut in like **King Queen, that's the price of infidelity. You don't get to light the house on fire and then complain it's cold in the ruins. Mic drop. It was clinical. Emotionless. But exactly what I needed. That night, I sat on the floor with Bowie, cracked a beer, and looked at the official papers. Petition for dissolution of marriage. It hurt. Still did. But it also felt like a release, like I was no longer shackled to someone who saw me as disposable. And for the first time since this all began, I allowed myself to look forward. Part 13. Rebuilding me. After the paperwork was filed, something strange happened. I started to feel free. Not all at once. It wasn't some cinematic moment where I danced in the rain or dramatically threw my wedding ring into a river. It was quieter than that. More subtle. Like realizing the storm had passed and you could finally hear your own thoughts again. I moved back into the house, my house now. Megan had tried to argue for her share, but Amanda handled that beautifully. Given her affair, her absence, and the fact that I had proof of her spending nights in hotels with someone else, her leverage was as dead as our vows. I painted the bedroom a new color, got rid of the bed frame we picked together and bought something simpler. Mine. I even replaced the stupid "Live, Laugh, Love" sign she insisted on hanging in the kitchen with a piece of art I sketched and had framed. Every change was like taking back a piece of myself. I reconnected with people I hadn't talked to in forever. Friends I distanced myself from during the marriage because Megan didn't vibe with them. I went to trivia nights, grabbed drinks after work, even joined a local running group. Still slow as hell, but no one judges. Life felt social again, light again. And the best part? I stopped waiting for the other shoe to drop. No more walking on eggshells around someone whose mood flipped like a switch. No more pretending things were fine when my gut screamed otherwise. No more looking at a phone and wondering who she was texting under the table. Just peace. I won't lie, the scars are still there. Trust doesn't come back overnight. I still overthink texts sometimes. Still hesitate when someone gives me a compliment like they might be setting me up to hurt me later. But I'm working on it. Therapy's helped. A lot. Shout out to Dr. Laura, who called me out on my emotional avoidance in week 2 and made me write a letter to the version of myself that stayed too long. Brutal. Opening. Exactly what I needed. Megan? I haven't heard from her since the mediation wrapped. A mutual friend told me Julian ghosted her 2 weeks after I walked out of that hotel room. Karma's funny like that. I don't hate her anymore. I don't want her back. I just hope she stays gone. Because I've got *T to build now. Part 14, moving on for real. 6 months. That's how long it's been since the hotel. Since the texts. Since the last lie. Sometimes it feels like it happened last week. Other times, it feels like another lifetime, like I'm remembering a bad dream someone else told me about. But the one thing I know for sure? I'm not the same guy who sat crying in his car outside that hotel. I've moved on. Not just from her, from the whole version of my life that revolved around trying to make someone else happy while slowly losing myself in the process. I'm dating again. Nothing serious yet, and honestly, I'm in no rush. The first time I went on a date post-divorce, I was nervous as hell. I must have changed shirts 3 times before realizing I didn't need to impress anyone, just show up as me. And guess what? That was enough. We talked about books, dogs, travel. I didn't bring up Megan. Didn't feel the need to. It was just normal. Good. And even if that one didn't turn into anything long-term, it reminded me that I could connect again. That I wasn't broken. That love, the real kind, is still possible. Just not something I'm going to chase like it's air this time. Now I chase me. I've picked up hobbies I abandoned years ago. I cook more. I hike on weekends. I built a little corner studio in the guest room to sketch and paint. Hell, I even booked a solo trip to Oregon just to hike and clear my head. Never would have done that when I was with her. She used to call solo travel selfish. Nah. You know what's selfish? Lying to someone who would have done anything for you. I'm not bitter anymore. Not even angry. I don't want revenge or closure or some dramatic "you'll regret this" moment. I don't need it. I've got my own peace now. And I protect it like my life depends on it, because in some ways it does. People keep asking if I'm back to normal. But honestly, I don't want the old normal. This new version of me? He's honest. Wiser. Way less tolerant of red flags. He sets boundaries. He listens to his gut. He knows that love isn't supposed to feel like a guessing game. He knows that when someone loves you, they show up. And if they don't, you let them go. Part 15, Final Thoughts and Advice. If you've made it this far, first of all, thank you. Seriously. Writing this out started as a way to vent, but somewhere along the way it became therapy. And maybe, just maybe, someone else reading this is sitting in the same dark place I was, wondering if they're crazy for feeling broken, used, or like they'll never trust again. You're not crazy. You're just healing. And healing isn't linear. Some days you'll feel like you're making progress. Other days, a memory will hit you out of nowhere and leave you gutted in the middle of the grocery store because they used to love that brand of cereal. That's normal. What matters is that you keep going anyway. Here's what I've learned. If your gut is screaming, listen. I ignored mine for months. Told myself I was paranoid. She made me believe I was imagining it, but your body knows. Your heart knows. Trust that voice. Cheating is a choice, not a mistake. People don't accidentally fall into affairs. They create patterns of lies, secrecy, and emotional distance. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Don't stay where you're not respected. You can't love someone enough to make them loyal. You can't pour water into a bucket full of holes and expect it to fill up. Choose peace over chaos always. Get a support system. Whether it's a sibling, a friend, a therapist, or a group of Reddit strangers, don't isolate yourself. You'll need reminders that you're not alone, even when it feels like it. Forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you. I don't forgive Megan because she deserves it. I forgive her because I deserve to not carry her mess with me anymore. You will be okay. Maybe not today. Maybe not for a while. But you will. One day you'll wake up and there'll be just a chapter, not your whole damn story. So yeah, that's it. That's my story. From husband to betrayed to free. If you're reading this and you're in that raw, painful place, I promise it gets better. Not all at once, but piece by piece. Keep those pieces. They're yours now. Orange Heart, thanks for sticking with me through this. If anyone's got questions or needs to talk, I'll be in the comments. You're not alone.